Hey guys and girls, my name is Alan and welcome to today's gameplay commentary. So as you can see, today we're doing some Uncharted 4 multiplayer, and it's another match that features...
Don't tell Marlowe. She's possessive.
one of the weapons that was released as part of the March update or DLC, I can't remember what it's called now. So that's the weapon that I'll be using today, the INSAS, and I'll show you how it plays in a second. Basically it's an assault rifle, and as I said, I'll talk about the properties in a minute. But basically, so... you might have noticed quite a few Mass Effect Andromeda videos gone up in the past week or so. That's because obviously the game's just come out and I'm putting quite a bit of time into it. Still haven't played this campaign yet, but I've started to pick it up. I don't know, it just doesn't have the same draw as obviously the original Mass Effect trilogy, partly because, well, when 3 came out it was sort of the conclusion of the trilogy, and so there's a sort of you know, you're already invested in it, whereas this is starting from afresh and it just doesn't feel the same. It's good in its own right, but I don't know, it's just something's missing. Obviously we're starting from day one again, so it's, I don't know. Anyway, it's not a Mass Effect video, so I'll save that for another day. Alright, so yes, as I was saying, you'll probably notice a slowdown in pack opening videos for Mass Effect. So if you're getting tired of those, don't worry, I am slowing down because I'm getting to the point now where I'm buying slightly more expensive packs, and obviously you can't buy as many of those as you can the cheaper ones. So the videos will be well, I don't like to upload short videos of pack opening videos because that's kind of pointless in my opinion. So you'll probably see a slowdown just because I'll have to record in like more than one session before I can, you know, put together a decent video. Alright, anything else I need to talk about? Well, actually, I don't know if you've heard, but there's been an announcement date for The Lost Legacy, Uncharted 4's spin-off DLC. Some really interesting news about it. I've talked about it on Acon Vision already as part of a news drop, so if you've already watched that, then I guess you already know. But if you don't know, so it's coming out in August, supposedly. Earlier than I predicted. I did think it was going to be around December time or towards the end of the year. See, this guy, team player, he knows. Well, I don't know whether he's a team player or not, but taking point, you know, pushing forward to make sure that enemies can't ambush me. And fortunately, there's only one guy there, but they still managed to get shots on. So if he wasn't there at all, I'd have gone down and either wouldn't have been capped or maybe he would have got it after. But good team play there. What was I talking about? Okay, so yeah, so apparently it's coming out in August, which is earlier than I predicted. I did think it was going to be towards the end of the year, so that's a nice surprise. And also, some news is coming to light that apparently it's going to be a lot longer than we all thought. So I don't know if you played the Last of Us DLC. That was like a few extra hours on top. Well, actually, maybe half a dozen hours or something like that, which is fairly decent for a piece of DLC. I don't know. I liked it, but I didn't think it was that. It wasn't as good as the main story, but it was nice to get an insight into the background of Ellie. Because obviously you focus mainly on Joel as you play the campaign. If you haven't played it, I suggest you do play The Last of Us. It's a really good game, and obviously The Last of Us Part 2 is coming out, so if you don't want this plotline spoiled, and I really think you should just play it just to enjoy it for the first time, and then obviously when it comes out the second part, you can enjoy that as well. I keep getting sidetracked. Yeah, so apparently well, not the campaign, but apparently the DLC itself is about 10 hours, so they say. Now, the reason why I bring up The Last of Us, because even though it was roughly about 6 hours, it was a lot of exploration and a lot of talking and watching flashbacks and stuff like that, which is fine. You know, it provides more story and everything, but I prefer, I don't know, a little bit more action in my in my gameplay. And so I felt that I completely did not see this dude hiding. I don't even know if he was hiding. Hopefully he didn't spawn there, but I just walked into the room, had a quick sweep, didn't even think to check the corner, and he just blind fired me to death. Yeah, so The Last of Us DLC was good in its own right, but it was just, I don't know, I don't want to say boring, but I feel like there could have been a bit more action. I don't know, that's just me. I do like a bit more action in my my gameplay from time to time. So I'm hoping it's a mixture of both. I mean, obviously Uncharted focuses on both story and action, so I'm hoping there's a nice balance between the two, but push comes to shove, I would prefer a bit more action, especially playing as my girl Chloe. Come on, can't be talking all the while through. Gotta be dropping some fools, you know, and also teaming up with Nadine as well. So yeah, my original favourite and my, well, I don't know if I'd call her my new favourite, but I do like Nadine. She reminds me of Chloe. She's basically I don't know, like a, I don't want to say villain either, because I don't want to talk about the end of the campaign or anything, but yeah, she She reminds me of Chloe, and so that's why I like her. Same sort of attributes, I suppose. And anyway, I don't want to talk about it anymore because I don't want to spoil it for you if you haven't played the campaign.
I'm not afraid of a little
Right, so I suppose we should probably talk about the weapon. I don't think there's any other news that I was going to talk about in terms of Uncharted 4. Well, anyway, well, actually, one other note to mention while I'm here is that I am looking forward to it, obviously, as I keep saying. But I'm also hoping that because the also actually, that's something I should say, is that the campaign is a little bit longer than the plot line of the DLC, or shall I say, is a bit longer than what we thought. So they're saying 10 hours roughly, which I don't know, like there's probably going to be a lot of cutscenes in there, so we're talking maybe 6+ hours of gameplay, roughly. Depends on how long you take to obviously explore the areas and whatnot. So apparently they're going to release it as like a proper standalone thing. Like even though it's a piece of DLC attached to technically related to Uncharted 4, it's going to be its own thing sort of. And so apparently they're releasing it on disc as well, which is great because I hate buying stuff from the PSN store. So if I can go out and physically buy a copy, that's fantastic. And obviously if it's a good campaign, then you know, all the better for it. And also I mean nothing's been said about multiplayer or anything like that, but I don't know, I kind of hope that being a standalone thing, like prior to it being announced as a standalone DLC with you know, with a disc retail release, I didn't really think much of anything other than the story content. But now that they're releasing it as a full-blown side thing, I'm kind of hopeful that they're going to add more content, which might expand on Uncharted 4 multiplayer, and hopefully, I'm really hopeful that they're going to add more co-op stuff. Well, some co-op stuff, because at the moment it's just survival, and I'm very worried by the fact that they haven't really talked about anything more than survival. And so if that's all there is for Uncharted 4, I'm a little bit sad. This is a topic I want to talk about in more detail in a future video, so I'm going to save it for some co-op footage because I feel that's the time to talk about it. But it has left me wanting more, and I've never had to say that about, well, obviously Uncharted 2 came out and it was great, and obviously it wasn't in Uncharted 1, so I couldn't really complain. Uncharted 3, you know, I had fond memories of Uncharted 2, so I felt there was something missing, but Uncharted 3, you know, in its own right had some decent content as well. But 4, I've often wondered, is there more to come? And I kind of hope there is more to come. If you follow what I'm saying, I don't know, maybe I'm just, I don't know, that's just how I feel. Anyway, I'll talk about that in a future video. Right, so we're about 7 minutes in now, and I can finally start talking about the weapon. So the INSAS is, as I said, one of the DLC weapons included as part of the March update. As my secondary, I'm also using one of the other DLC weapons, the Krivgos pistol. I don't know what it's called. I don't use it that much in this game. It's primarily the INSAS, but you do see it in action in some parts. So I'm still trying to get a decent gameplay of the Krivgos. Oh, I can't pronounce that weapon. But it's slow going. I don't know. It's an okay weapon, but yeah, I don't know. I'll talk about that when I get the footage for that particular gameplay. Right, so the INSAS is an assault rifle. It's got kind of slow rate of fire, but it balances this with heavy damage. However, its recoil pattern and its spray is a bit much, I think. So I think it's one of the slowest firing weapons. I thought the Argual, not the Argual, what the hell is that weapon called now? The one that looks like an AUG. Damn it, I can't remember what it's called now. The one that, you know, the one that has, you don't have to zoom in, but you have the option to zoom in. It looks like an AUG. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. That's really bad, mind blank. I thought that had a slow rate of fire, but this one I think has a slower rate of fire. And what I did there with the nade was so that I wasn't sure if anyone was going to try and pick up the idol to reset the restart timer, so I threw a nade just to make sure that no one can get close to it. It's a good tip to use if you're worried about enemies obviously keeping the idol near their base. What's it called now? Bloody hell, I can't remember. Anyway, that was cheeky. Shot the mine that he was sitting on top. I don't know if it was his. If it was his, that's really stupid. It was the teammates, then it's poor placement, I suppose. Anyway, so yeah, it does decent damage, but it's got slow rate of fire. That's the trade-off. And also its accuracy is not great. And even though I seem to get some decent kills in this match, I played other games where the spray is pretty bad. So anything outside of short to mid range, you kind of struggle. It's definitely not a long range weapon. This is not something you want to use cross map. Even if you tap the trigger, I still feel there are other better weapons to use. So yeah, it's an okay weapon, but it's not my sort of weapon, just because A, it's not very accurate, which I don't like in weapons, and B, it's very slow rate of fire, which doesn't really help in a lot of situations, to be quite honest. What else can I talk about? Well, there's the weapon, as I was saying. So yeah, it's, if you ever fire it into like a wall or something at mid range, you can sort of see how bad the recoil pattern and the spray is. I mean, sort of this gives you an idea of how all over the place it can be, but it does hit hard. So if you manage to land the shots, it does do decent damage. Again, that's probably a good example of it doing what it's doing there. But in general, I'd say it's probably one of the slower rate of fire weapons. However, it's one of the heaviest hitting weapons, but it's also one of the least accurate weapons. So that's the 3-point summary. And also, there's the Krivos pistol in action. It sounds cool, the Krivos pistol. Pistol? The pistol sounds pretty decent, but it's, well, again, I'm still trying to get like a decent gameplay for it before I talk about it. So stay tuned for that. I think that's all there is to say about the weapon, to be honest. The match itself is kind of back and forth. I don't know, I feel like I'm doing a lot of work in this game, and I don't know if it's because my team aren't particularly good, which, I mean, they might not be very good. It's a pub after all, but I don't know, it just seems like I'm having to slay and play the objective, and it shouldn't be this much work, even though obviously, as I said, it's a pub, so I'm no stranger to it having to be this hard to win a match on your own, pretty much. Also, something else I suppose I can mention about the assault rifle is that because it's got slow rate of fire and because the spray is a bit crazy, the blind fire, needless to say, is not very good on it. So you've seen there's a few situations where I've jumped into cover, tried to blind fire, but enemies can still rush you. It's one of those sort of weapons where it's not great for blind firing. Or maybe it's just me. I don't know. I don't blind fire a lot, so therefore I can't really say whether it's really effective or really not effective. But from what I can tell, obviously there are a lot better weapons for blind firing than the INSAS. That was unfortunate towards the end there. I don't know, I got sandwiched and my team were nowhere to be seen, and so that guy pushed me from behind. I probably should have chased. I don't know, you never really chase, that's sort of one of the first rules. And then the rest of his team came up from behind with the idol, and I sort of didn't know who to concentrate on first, and so I just got sandwiched, and well, that was it for me. But unfortunate, I would have liked to have finished 35 and 7. Would have been a cheeky little 5 KD, but as it stands, it's like 4 point something, which is pretty, yeah, it's still pretty good, I think. You know, let me know in the comment section below if you think I do well or not. So that'll do it for today's gameplay commentary. Hopefully you enjoyed the gameplay. If you did, consider tapping that like button. I really do appreciate it. And as I said, more content to come in the future for Uncharted 4. I just need to get around to doing it. I will, of course, be continuing with the Mass Effect Andromeda videos at some point. I think I've actually got a gameplay commentary coming up this weekend. I'll have to wait and see how it goes. But yeah, I just thought today I'd make a nice change, going back to Uncharted for a bit, and also obviously it's a new weapon which you may or may not have unlocked. Anyway, till next time, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, take care, and I will see you later.